Hi guys, welcome back to my Flosstube channel. I believe this is episode 8, so I've been recording for a couple of months now. Still enjoying it, still having a good time, so I think I'll keep up with it for a while at least. The magpie has not yet drawn me away from Flosstube. I am still really far behind on watching videos though, so if I haven't commented on your videos or I don't say something that references your most recent video, not that I do all the time or very often even, that's because I haven't seen it yet probably. So I'm still watching, I'm still catching up, I will get there eventually. Thank you, by the way, if you are a first-time visitor to my Flosstube channel, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. If you're coming back to watch another video, welcome back. I'm glad that you have decided to check in with me again. I hope that you are enjoying what you're seeing and hearing from me, and that you will continue to come back. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a comment. Sometimes I'm better than others about responding to comments and answering questions. Sometimes I'm a little bit behind. I think I'm somewhere in between right now, so apologies if you asked me something and I didn't answer you. Oh, and if you're sending me messages on YouTube, private messages, I am not entirely sure why I'm not seeing all of them, so if I don't respond to you, leave a comment in the comments, or I guess that's really the only way to get a hold of me, and I will see if I can figure out what's going on. I'm still checking, still trying to figure out what I'm doing as far as comments go, but sometimes I miss them, and through no fault of my own, I think. But apologies. Also want to, the lighting is going to be kind of weird on this episode. It's raining again, which is a good thing. We still need water in Northern California. But it makes the light odd, and it makes it difficult to film some things. So I decided to turn on a table lamp, and it's going to cast shadows, as you can see. Also, if you recall, if you watched my last episode, I said that I would change things up and occasionally... Oh, my English is bad again today, guys. Sorry. I said I would occasionally change things up and show you little other things that I do. Someone in the last video asked about my quilling work, said that she would like to see some of my quilling work, and here you go. I have other pieces to show you later. I just wanted to have her out right now to, give you something to look at, other than my hands, of course. But she's a little... I think she's about 5 inches tall, maybe not even that, 4 inches tall. Made entirely out of paper strips that are curled and glued in place. This is not exactly quilling. Quilling is rolling paper to make shapes and things like that. And that's what I did to make her. But this is, making an art doll out of quilled pieces. So her feet are flat, so she can stand up, though she doesn't always stand up very well. Hence, there you go. So she does stand up. She was the first of the dolls that I have made, and I haven't made that many. I do have plans to make more, but she was the first one with her frilly skirt and everything, so I'll just put her back here if she will stay on her feet. Stand up. Nope. See, she was my first one, like I said, and so she's not the best balanced, but there you go. So how are you guys? How have things been for the last couple of weeks? I have been okay. Not gonna say much other than I've been okay. As I mentioned at the beginning of last episode, I was traveling. I went traveling that week, so I uploaded the video, or tried to upload the video in the car while we were traveling, and didn't manage, so I had to upload it a day late. But I was out of town for the majority of week before last. In a hotel room, which was great. I brought some stitching with me and I tried to get some work done, but as you know, when you go on any sort of vacation, and as I mentioned when I took my stitching to Hawaii with me, you always think you're going to do more stitching than you actually do, despite the fact that I was sitting in a hotel room for a lot of the time while my husband was at a conference. I watched some TV, I zoned out a lot, I drove around some. We were down in the Bay Area, in Santa Clara, the Santa Clara area. So I didn't get as much stitching done as I had hoped. Some, but not all of what I wanted to do. I took my stitch-alongs with me, and Unfortunately, I did not actually get to work on all of my stitch-alongs in the 2 weeks since the last time I recorded a video. Now, a good number of them have had new patterns come out because, of course, it turned February. Or it became February. January ended, it became February, and a lot of the stitch-alongs that I'm in, if not all of them, I think all of them actually, have new pattern releases for February. Needless to say, none of them have any work for February done on them. A couple of them don't have any work done from the last time I showed you, so I won't be showing them to you again. But I do have some progress, and considering the fact that I basically had a week off, I think I have a decent amount of progress. I also have a new hobby that I will show you a little bit later, which took away from some of my stitching time. You're probably not going to like that I show it to you because you might want to try it out for yourself, but I'm going to show you anyway. But that's at the end. As I said before, I'm going to add extra things at the end of my videos, so if you're only here to see stitching, you can watch the stitching bits and then wander off to somebody else's Flosstube channel. And if you want to stick around and see the rest of my stuff, you can do that too. Okay, so let's get to stitching, in no particular order. And apparently the first piece I'm going to pull is the one that has had almost the least amount of change since the last time you saw it. But I'm going to show you anyway. So this is the Faces of Fairy Stitch-Along by Joan Elliott. It is a stitch-along that happened, I believe, in 2014 on a Facebook group. And I'm not having luck. This is part of the reason why I mentioned about the comments. I'm not having luck trying to find ways to get people added to the group. I know Katie, who is the Stash Queen. Stash Queen? Yes, Katie the Stash Queen mentioned that you could message her on Facebook and she would try to get you added into the group. And I apologize for the phone focusing, guys. It's gonna be weird. Katie Agruso mentioned that you could message her on Facebook and get added to the group, or she would try to get you added to the group. So if you know her, if you see her post in a group and you want to be included in that stitch-along, that's probably the easiest way to do it until I figure out what's going on with my messaging. I'll keep you up to date, I'll let you know, but anyway, I'm only working on stitching the frame on this, and I'm not going to insert a picture of where this was before because I didn't have much done before, and I still don't have much done. Once I actually get some stitching done on this, I'll probably insert before and after pictures, but there's really no point right now because this is all I have done of the frame. Now, I added a couple pieces, like I finished the bottom, I added this corner piece, I extended this over here, but really, you know, it's not that much more than what you saw last time, so there's really no point in doing a before and after picture because you're not going to be able to tell that there's a lot of progress, because there wasn't. This, again, is stitched on a piece of 28 count cashel linen in doubloon from Picture This Plus. And, of course, I have my Genie stitch marker on here. It just seemed appropriate, and I like it. So, anyway, not a lot of progress, but some. I think this is my next least amount of progress for the past 2 weeks. So again, I'm not going to show you a before and after picture for this one because there's really not that much done. When I get some more done on it, I will show you. But this is the charity stitch-along that Stitchrovia is doing. I think it's Stitchrovia. It's the Charity for Mind stitch-along, and this is the one that I was gushing about last episode, about having the beautiful scroll work, and I still think that's really, really pretty. I mean, look at that. It's, for being one color, this is only one color, and for being only partially finished, and having not that much stitching done, I still really think that that framework, and this is the framework, or the border for the piece, is really, really pretty. I can't get over how much this pleases me for being really simple. This is being stitched on a piece of 18 count white Aida, not 18 count, 16 count white Aida. It was one of the recommended fabrics. It's a text, basically a text sampler. So it seemed to make sense to me that I should just go ahead and do it on a fabric that's relatively easy to use. So 16 count Aida, beautiful scroll work. Not a lot of progress, but it's coming along slowly but surely. This one is another one of the stitch-alongs that had a pattern release this month, and I haven't even done the first month's pattern. Like, I haven't finished January's pattern. So, anyway, this is the Happily Ever After stitch-along from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And again, I kind of feel like because there's so little progress being made, I mean, last time I showed this to you, I had the corner, this little tiny corner, like maybe a diagonal of that finished. So obviously, yes, I did more stitching. This is the outline of the outer, or the corner of the outer border, and the gray bits on the first block. So the January block where the owl and the pussycat go. But as you can see, I don't actually have an owl or pussycat. I haven't stitched any more of the border. I haven't even stitched the lines for the February block yet. So, not a lot of progress. This month is Heidi, which is a really cute pattern as well. I'm going to start working on this, obviously. I can't be this far behind all the time, but... So I did get a little bit of progress, and I'll take that as a win, but not as much as I was hoping to have done. And this is a piece of 28 count even weave from Charles Craft that I overdyed. Again, using my, and it's not going to, well, maybe a little bit. Not really. I overdyed it using my technique to put a little bit of sparkle in the fabric because I don't need opalescent fabric all the time, but I do like a little bit of shine. And I apologize if I'm making you sick by trying to fold or unfold the fabric. There you go. There's a shot that sort of demonstrates that there's sparkle in it. Anyway, Happily Ever After by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm really kind of frustrated by the fact that I didn't get as much stitching as I wanted to get done. But, you know, it happens. You move on. I knocked over my quill work girl, so I'm just going to leave her out of the frame because I'm going to keep doing that. I will show you, like I said, other things later, and it will make up for her sudden and amazing or startling absence. Okay, on to the next stitch-along. This is the Birthstone Dragon Sampler by Ingleside Imaginarium. And it's being done by Brittany Church, who is Blimey Cat Stitches on Flosstube. You guys have seen this stitch along. I'm sure there are a lot of people doing it, and most of them are much further ahead, or at least caught up or nearly caught up than I am. This is the January dragon, which is the garnet dragon, and I guess I'll go ahead and put in a picture of where I was last time, because this one actually has a fair amount of progress. So I'll insert a picture here. And now you'll come back to see how much I've gotten done. So I had the orange bits done in the dragon, or some of them anyway. And while I was in the hotel, I actually managed to finish one of the colors of red that make up his body. So you can actually see that he has a body now. Again, behind, blah, blah, blah. I've explained that before. This month's, February's dragon goes here. And it is the amethyst dragon, and he is a completely different style of dragon. He is, I believe, this one is a wyvern. So it's a different look, different pose. I'm very excited to get to it, but of course I have to finish this guy first. Again, this is, or rather, again, I guess I shouldn't say again because I haven't explained on this episode, but this is another piece of 28 count even weave. This one I also dyed in a smoky soft gray, and it has some gold sparkle in it in places. And it has a stray thread on it. Oops. Sorry about that. If I can get it. Okay. Again, the sparkle technique that I use to put a little bit of bling in my fabric, but not have it woven into the fabric. And this one, fortunately, has stopped shedding glitter on me now, so that makes me pretty happy. Anyway, Birthstone Dragon Sampler. That is the January Garnet Dragon. one more stitch along. And if you have been following me or you're following along, you probably know which one this is. Did I bring... Oh, I didn't bring it. I was going to say, this is the Lakeside Needlecraft Under the Sea sampler. And I was going to say, I'm doing 2 of their samplers, which is true. I am doing the Fantasy sampler from last year. And I am doing the Under the Sea sampler from this year. I did not actually do any work on the Fantasy sampler, so I won't be showing you that one this time. But I did do a little bit of work on the Under the Sea sampler. And I should have inserted the picture of before this, but I didn't, so I will now. And here we are currently. Now, not a lot of progress. Again, I put another color of green in. So he has more definition. The octopus has more definition. And you can tell a little bit more what he's going to be, where he's going to be. I'm actually really enjoying this. I looked at the octopus when he came out in January and I was a little troubled by the direction the sampler might be going. But having seen him finished and having seen the February pattern, which you guys, I should have printed out a copy of the cover page for the February block because, oh my goodness, I'm not a shark fan. And I saw that block and I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. I mean, if you have not seen anybody else stitch that block yet, you will, I promise you. I will stitch it as soon as I get to it, and obviously you'll see it here, but it is hysterically funny, I think, and really cute. So I am not at all disappointed in this sampler anymore, not worried anymore. I trust Doreen Jones to have created something amazing, and I'm really looking forward to where the rest of the months go. So anyway, this is the January block. He is an octopus, obviously. There is a fish down here, I think, in the corner. And then next door to him is a shark and another little school of fish. And seriously, it's adorable. I am so excited by the sampler. I am stitching this on the fabric that was printed for the stitch along by Fabric Flair. It is a 25 count even weave. And it is a gradient, so it starts in this light color. And if I flip this over, let's see if you can tell. Not really. It's not a severe gradient, but it does darken toward the bottom of the piece. So it looks like it's underwater and getting deeper underwater. Anyway, that's where I am on the Under the Sea sampler. So like I said, I did not actually get any progress made on the Fantasy sampler, which means I do not have any stitches put in on the Unicorn from January, nor have I started the Adorable Mermaid from February. Other people are doing that. You will probably see, if you have not already seen people stitching on those samplers. The patterns are really cute, and eventually I will get there and you will see them, but I'm not there yet. And there was one other sampler that I was stitching on that I did. Oh, the Fabulous Women Stitch Along by Clouds Factory. I am still sitting at... Sorry, my phone is ringing. I am still sitting at one color done on the Fabulous Women sampler as I showed you in my last episode, so I'm not going to show you that one either. I will show you that one again when I have more progress on it. Now on to things that I actually did make progress on, if not significant amounts, then at least enough to show you. The first being the January pattern from the Cricut collection, and I will insert a picture of what that looked like last time you saw it here. And I will show you what it looks like now. Yay! See, significant progress. So as you can see, I have finished stitching the bloomers on the skater. This is a skater. The boots have ice skates on the bottom of them, backstitched. So I finished stitching the skater figure. I don't need to do the tiny bits of backstitching that are on him, her, whichever it is. And I've started doing the actual letter. So this is the center character. This is the U. So the U wraps around her, and I'm actually pretty impressed with the fact that I got that much done. Obviously, it was not done by January. It will be done by next January. I do have the February pattern, as I showed you last time. That's probably not going to get done by February. So I'm going to be behind, which means all of these things will be displayable, I hope, or at least some of them will be displayable next year, but not this year, and that's fine. I'm not in a rush, but I do want to get them all done. This is a 28 count opalescent Lugana that I bought as white, and I overdyed in the blue, violet, and white swirling, snowy sort of pattern that you're seeing. I have no idea what color I'm going to do for February. I need to get another piece of opalescent fabric, I think, maybe. I'm not sure whether I want to do them all on opalescent fabric or not. What do you think? Give me your opinion. Do you think that they should be tied together by the fact that they are all shiny and sparkly? Should I move forward by dyeing the other pieces in whatever color I choose and then doing my own sparkly technique, or should I go full out opalescent and make them matchy-matchy in that way? Let me know what you think. I'm still up in the air, so my mind is not made up. My next piece is the one that was driving me completely crazy last time I talked to you because I had made a huge mistake in stitching it and had to rip it out and start over. And that would be my Dragon Knot by Stephanie Law, which is my current Hade. I will insert a picture of what that looked like last time you saw it here. And this is what it looks like now. Now, I was stitching on this and I realized if I continue to stitch on this at the rate that I'm stitching on it, it will be done in about 20 years. And this is this is not even a big project. It has no background, as you can see. It's a central motif, so it's not even a big Hade. So I need to step up my game on the speed with which I'm stitching this, or it will never be finished. So I decided, and I started doing this in the middle of this section, which is the piece that is new, that I am giving up on 1/1 full cross stitch because not only is it difficult to finish the cross back, especially in dense sections like this black section where I can't even see the hole that I'm trying to cross back into, but it takes so much time and there is so much confetti in this particular pattern that I'm constantly doing 2 stitches and then cutting the thread, and then doing 2 stitches, and then cutting the thread, and it just takes too much time. To do it 1/1 cross, it's gonna frustrate me. So I started doing 2/1 half cross stitch in the middle of this section, and I know where the stitches are that I did differently, but I can't really tell the difference. So I'm just gonna do the rest of the pattern in 2/1 half cross. And if it looks weird, I'm gonna suck it up and deal with it, but I've only got this tiny little piece done. This is the first partial page, and then I'm working on a second page, which is also a partial page, and I don't think it's gonna make a difference. So, that's my choice, that's my decision. I think it will help a lot in the speed factor. It's not gonna take care of the confetti issue, so I'm still gonna have to change color all the time, but I'm not gonna have to fuss and fiddle with trying to make full crosses, and that makes me happy. So we'll see. If it looks terrible, it looks terrible. I will stop and I will do some other pattern because I have several Hades on my lineup. I have also joined a group where they use a different technique to do Hade patterns rather than stitching, and that has to do with my new hobby, and I will talk about that later, but that may be the way I go in the future for Hades as well, because at the size and the detail and the confetti level of Hade projects, I'm not sure I will ever actually be able to finish stitching a Hade, which makes me sad because I am nothing if not stubborn, and I do not like to give up when it comes to projects. But sometimes you have to, I guess, is all I have to say about that. Anyway, Dragon Knot. That's where I am right now. To counter the frustration of the Dragon Knot, I will show you my favorite project of my current group of projects. So I'll insert a picture of what my version of Death by Cross Stitch looks like, or looked like last time, here. And this is where I am now, and I apologize for that dramatic swoop in with the fabric. But this is where I am now. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, not really. Anyway. So, I think I finished another row. And I started oh no, I was down here. I was on the checkerboard gridded area. So I was probably here in the hoof. So I'm, obviously you can see where I am. Going back for more of this lovely lacy border. We'll finish this block and move on down to a new set of flowers. I am almost actually out of this particular block of the pattern. So there are sections, you've seen it, I'm sure. You've seen other more completed versions of this, but I am almost finished with this particular corner of the pattern, and I'll be moving on to a different pattern. So obviously the unicorn is complete now, which makes me very happy, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to work on this. And I feel like I get a significant amount of work done on this, despite the fact that I am doing this one 1/1 on 28 count even weave. I think the difference is that number one, this is undyed, so there's no dye or anything interfering with the weave of the fabric. It has not been washed, so it hasn't shrunk or moved or shifted or anything. It is also one color, so I don't have to bother with switching colors. I am making full crosses, and I am doing the crosses individually, so I'm not going, making a row of bottom legs and then going back and doing top legs. I make each cross individually, but for whatever reason, this is just easier to stitch on as 1/1. And I really love it. Seriously, this is Death by Cross Stitch, again, by Long Dog Samplers. I did it right, Danielle. I said it right. And this particular pattern has kicked off a sort of obsession with Long Dog Samplers. I want to do so many of her samplers, and they're all beautiful, and they're all complicated, and who knows if I will ever do as many as I want, but I want them all. And isn't that the way with most of us about a lot of things? And last but not least, my Hufflepuff by Stitchering. This is a coat of arms that I'm stitching for a friend of mine. I will insert a picture of where I was last time here. And here we are this time. Again, this one is usually one that I have a little bit of trouble showing you because it's kind of long. But you will notice that I have actually put some color into this. And don't worry about this blue line. That will be washed out or cut off or covered up or whatever. It's not going to be a problem. But I have actually put color in now. So we're starting to see the yellow background. Hufflepuff's colors obviously are yellow and black. So this is a giant block of solid yellow. I really wanted to finish that color in this particular quadrant of the pattern, but I got that far into it, and after I had done all the swirly bits out here, and I just couldn't do it. I was done. So next time around, when this comes up in rotation, I will probably finish that and finish all the yellow that goes in here too. And then we'll move on to the next shade of yellow and the next, etc. But I'm actually pretty proud with that amount of progress on this project, since I usually just have yet another shade of gray to show you. Also, yeah, color, finally. So this is Hufflepuff by Stitchering. And this, again, is on a 28 count piece of even weave, undyed. And that's everything I have to show you as far as works in progress. While I was in Santa Clara, like I said, I had some free time, did some driving around, and I decided that I was going to if I could, I was going to go to needlework shops, because as I've said before, we don't have any in my area. The closest one is about an hour away. Actually, the closest one is about an hour away in any direction. So while I was in the Bay Area, I figured since there are more down there, I would go and try to check them out. I was going to try to go to Needle in a Haystack, which is in Alameda, and which a few people on Flosstube have had meetups in. I was not able to get there, unfortunately. Next time I go down there. I did go to the exclamation point, though, which was a lovely little store tucked back in a small shopping center. And I can't remember her name, unfortunately, and I don't have the card with me. But she was very friendly and very nice and helpfully pointed out gave me a listing of all the other stores in the area and talked to me about hand-dyed flosses. And she was just really nice. I mean, she was very quiet. There was only one woman working in the store, and she more or less left me alone to browse on my own, but while we talked, she was very nice, and I'm very glad I got a chance to go in there. I did manage to pick up some patterns while I was down there. Not that I was particularly looking, I mean, I'm always looking for patterns. Aren't we all always looking for patterns? But I wasn't looking for anything in particular. However, I did happen to find some things that I had seen in the past, and this is in the past when I was stitching before I came back to stitching in October, I think it was. But I found some patterns that I've always liked and I did not have copies of, and now I do. The first of which is the Zodiac sampler by Donna Vermilion Giampa, and it is the Vermilion Stitchery, and I don't know if she is still designing things, if the Vermilion Stitchery still exists. I don't know. I should have looked that up before I recorded this. But as you can see, it is good old Zodiac signs with this... okay, hang on. Let me pull this out of the bag because, as we all know, plastic is shiny and reflects and makes it really hard to see what we're looking at. Of course, this pattern is printed on glossy paper, so I don't know if that's going to make a big difference. But, well, it makes a bit of a difference. Anyway, has this really cool border on it. And the celestial objects, the suns and the moons, and then all of the figures for the Zodiac. I saw this many years ago and really wanted it and planned to buy it and never did, and now I have it. And this is a giant fold-out pattern. So it's going to be tricky to make photocopies of it, I think. But I'm really looking forward to working in that because I've wanted that pattern for quite some time. I found a piece of the Continent series by Mike Vickery. I found South America. This is another series that I saw many years ago that I really wanted to collect all of them. And there's this series and then there's another... I believe that the other series is not part of the Continent series, but he has a series of patterns that are animals, and within the animals are various associated area things. So it's this idea. So the shape of the animal as opposed to the shape of the continent, and then different things stitched inside. Whereas this is obviously the shape of the continent of South America with animals that are associated with South America to be stitched in, all of the continents. There are many animals. They are very hard to find. I believe they're all out of print. You can find a couple of them on 123 Stitch, I think. Otherwise, it's probably, if you're interested in looking for these, it's probably easiest to go to either Stitch, and my phone is dying. It's probably best to go to either local needle shops or to... Sorry, the phone dying threw me. Or to look on eBay or something like that. And let me see what I can do about this battery thing, so hang on one second. Right, so apparently what I can do about the battery dying on my phone is plug the phone in and let it charge up for a little bit. Hang on one second. I need to pause this again because it's not pointing in the right direction, so one more little glitch. Hang on. Okay, that should take care of it for now anyway. So... where was I? Oh, patterns. Haul. Right, so after the Continents collection, I found this, which is another Cricut collection pattern, and it is woolen sheep. And as you can see, it is various sheep. Some plaid, some herringbone, some houndstooth. Really cute little sheep. As I am a fiber artist, these really appeal to me. There are several Cricut collection sheep patterns that I really like. This one has, yeah, that's just a pattern, so I won't show you, but hang on one second. it's going to be one of those days. Anyway, Cricut collection pattern. And then the last pattern that I picked up is one that I have seen on Marilla and Morgan's channel, and if you have not watched their channel, you should. They're very quick little, most of them are very quick, short little updates on their projects, and they're pretty fun to watch. These are the Birthday Fairies by Barbara Bates, and Marilla stitched these last year, and I watched her videos, obviously, and really like them. I think they're really cute. I am also a fan of fairies, so I figured since it was in the bins, why not go ahead and pick up the book? I would like to do these as a monthly stitch thing at some point. As I have demonstrated and said many times, I don't stitch that fast, so it probably won't be a one fairy a month like Marilla managed, but they are very cute. So, that was the last pattern book that I picked up. And then I went to a bookstore and bought some magazines. I have a subscription to Just Cross Stitch, a digital subscription, but I do like a lot of the patterns that come out of the magazines that are printed in the UK. Obviously, we get them a lot later than people in the UK do, and getting subscriptions to them, while possible, is sometimes kind of costly. So, when I'm in a bookstore, when I'm in the mood to go to the bookstore, I look and see if there's anything new. I picked up several this time, and I'm going to show you just one pattern from each of the magazines. If anybody wants me to do a flip through of the magazines at some point, I can do another video for that, but given my problems with the videos already today, I think one pattern per magazine for now is fine. So the first magazine I got is the Cross Stitch Collection 2017, January 2017, sorry, that has the Winter Spirit on the front, and that is the pattern that I'm going to show you, or rather the image of the finished product that I'm going to show you from this particular issue. When I saw the cover, this pattern caught my eye, and it's the reason why I picked this up, and so I figured it wouldn't hurt anything to show you the Winter Spirit, who is really cute, if you're into rabbits particularly, but just in general, I really like that pattern. The next magazine is the February-March issue of Cross Stitch Gold, which looks like this. And again, the pattern, or the finished project picture that I'm going to show you is this one, which is the cover picture. And I believe it's called, without showing you anything important, Eastern Beauty. Sorry, I didn't mean to smack you in the face with the magazine there. Eastern Beauty, and this is by Leslie Tier. The Winter Spirit pattern is by Amanda Butler, if you're looking for that pattern. This is a Leslie Tier lady, and I think she's really pretty. There is actually, let me just really briefly, there is another pattern in here that's also by Leslie Tier. It's like a theme for this particular magazine, which is, it's a draft blocker, and it's this, and it is a blackwork dragon, which, you know, goes along with the Eastern Beauty. I thought that was pretty cool. The next magazine that I picked up is which issue is this? It doesn't say. It just says World of Cross Stitching, with this Art Deco woman on the front of it. And the pattern I wanted to show you from this one is by Shannon, how do you say that? Shannon Wasiliev, I think, and it is the Prancing Pony. And it's this one, which, if you recall, I have mentioned before that we like carousel horses in this house, and so that seemed particularly appropriate for it to be a carousel pony pattern that caught my eye out of that issue. And the last but not least is the January 2017 Cross Stitcher magazine. This is obviously still in a sort of Christmas mood, but the pattern that caught my eye most in this one is this one, which is Warm Winter Wishes. Look at that polar bear. Look at how cute he is. Oh my god. And the little penguin And if you cannot tell by the design aesthetic who this is by, this is a Doreen Jones pattern. And I think there are several patterns in this magazine that are by Doreen Jones. And I think I just have to admit that I am a Doreen Jones fangirl. So, like I said, if anybody's interested in seeing better flip-throughs of those magazines, let me know in the comments, and I might do another video just to go through those magazines, because there's a lot of them, and there are a lot of patterns, and some of them are pretty cool. And I, again, just narrowed it down to one because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that. So, that is everything that has to do with stitching. That is my works in progress, that is my haul. I don't have any fibers or fabrics or anything like that this time. Haven't dyed anything new because I'm sort of at my limit of stitching. As you can tell by the fact that I didn't manage to touch everything in this 2 weeks, no more additions until I get something finished, and then I can rotate in from my list of things that I want to do in the near future. At this point, then, I will switch over to my extracurricular things. Things that are not stitching. So if you're interested, stick around. If you're not, feel free to wander onto somebody else's Flosstube channel and to have a great day. Have a wonderful time stitching in the next couple of weeks before I talk to you again. And I hope that all of your projects and all of your family and friends and you yourself are doing well. If you've made it this far, thanks for hanging in through all of the weird glitches this week. I don't know what's up today, but I think I'm going to blame it on the rain. So I showed you at the beginning my little Quillwork doll, and like I said then, she was the first of the dolls that I made. Once I got the hang of her, actually she's not the first of the dolls. I made a couple that were not very successful at all, and she's the first one that is actually a functional, successful doll-looking doll. Then I decided to play around with some fandom things. Now, if you are a Doctor Who fan at all, you might recognize these guys if I can get them to stand up. Come on, Martha. Oh, you're being difficult. Come on. Anyway, I'll just hold her if she's not going to stand up. That's fine. If you're a Doctor Who fan, like I said, you might recognize these guys. This is not Ten's typical suit, although he definitely wore a blue suit in his seasons on Doctor Who, as David Tennant played the Doctor. But you should at least, be able to recognize his lovely red Converse high tops. So yeah, this is a result of me playing around with the techniques and with curling paper and things like that. This is my 10, obviously. And again, this is quill work. This is all rolled paper. So it's rolled and then pressed into shapes and then glued into various configurations, and there you go. That is 10. Obviously, if you are familiar with 10, you are probably familiar with Martha Jones. This was the second one of the Doctor Who dolls I did, Doctor Who and companion dolls, rather. Obviously, this is Martha in her signature red or sienna leather jacket and her blue jeans and her spiky hairdo, her spiky ponytail. And yeah, if you notice, she only has one ear because the other one is in theory covered by her hair. Haha, see how clever that is? Anyway, these are, again, like I said, quill work dolls. I am planning on making more of them. I am planning on doing the entire series of Doctor Who dolls. I contemplated making these to sell. They're not that difficult. They're a little time consuming, but we'll see. These may end up going in my shop as probably not ready to buy, but customizable dolls, meaning if you want a particular character or a particular figure, I can make them for you, but I probably won't keep them in stock because having a bunch of them just sitting around taking up space is kind of problematic. We don't have infinite amounts of space. Nobody does. So it's just easier to take orders and then make them. But they're a lot of fun to make. They're a lot of fun to show to people and have them recognize. You go, oh my gosh, that's Martha, or oh, that's the Doctor. I like that reaction, getting that reaction from people. So I will probably do more of these in the future. If you like them, let me know. If you think they're weird and bizarre and, the hole in the middle of their face kind of freaks you out, as it did to me for the first few times that I made one of these, you feel free to say that too. Not everything is for everybody, and that's okay. Anyway, quill dolls. The other thing I teased you with is that I said that I had found a new hobby and that had taken some of my time away from stitching this past couple weeks. If you are overseas, meaning if you're not in the United States, you may have heard of this particular craft and you may think, wow, why are you talking about this now? This has been around forever. If you are in the United States, you may not have heard of this particular craft yet at all. It has been around for a while. People have been doing this for a while, but it's not very popular, as far as I can tell, in the United States, meaning you can't go to Michael's and buy kits. You can't go to Joann's and buy kits. I don't know about Hobby Lobby. Maybe you can, but this is a thing called diamond painting. And diamond painting is a system or a craft where you, excuse me for making crinkling noises, it's a craft where you glue tiny little resin circles or squares down to, sorry for kicking the camera, down to canvas in a particular pattern. Now, this is not a situation where I can't show you the pattern and then because you'll steal it and you'll do something with it. This is not a pattern that you can steal and do something with. Although I guess you could technically steal the pattern and then stitch it if you wanted to. But this is what a canvas looks like. And it has a shiny plastic coating on it. So I apologize for the moments of glare. The reason that it has a shiny plastic coating on it is that if you peel it back, the canvas itself is, oops, let me show you. It's sticky, you see. So it's sticky so that you can stick these little gemstones down. They call them rhinestones or they call them diamonds. They're actually either made out of plastic or a type of resin, and they come in both circular and square shapes. Now mine happen to be circular. And you tack them down with a pen tool that looks like this, which has a little tip on the end that you can fit the diamonds into, and then you can push them down or do multiple diamonds at the same time with the other end. And you match them to this, let me see if I can get this close enough that you can see. Yeah, kind of anyway. You match them to the characters and the numbers on the key on the side of the canvas. Now, what I did not know and discovered when I was doing this project is that the numbers are DMC numbers. So they have diamonds that are every color, 447 colors they boast of DMC colored diamonds. So, anyway, the point being, what you're supposed to get, and let me see if I can get this close enough that you can actually see the picture. It's not going to be a great picture. Let me peel the plastic back and see if that helps. Sort of. Anyway, the end result is supposed to look like that. It's a little wolf mandala. And you can see that the pattern is there on the canvas. And you can see the work that I've done on the diamonds down here. Now I'm working diagonally because that was my choice. But the point being, you put down diamonds. They look like a slightly pixelated version of the finished product. And I have been told that the canvas is equivalent to 11 count Ada. So you put the diamonds down and then you can mount it on a canvas or mount it on a frame, hang it on your wall, do whatever you want with it. The diamonds are stuck down pretty solidly. So let me peel this back again and show you again. You can roll this with the diamonds on the outside and they do not detach. Okay, so the glue is strong enough that you're supposed to be able to hang this on your wall without having to put it behind glass if you don't want to. If you want to, you can, obviously. But so this is the hobby that has been stealing me away from cross-stitching. The neat part, or the surprising part to me, is that there is a Facebook group specifically for doing, dun-dun-dun, Hade patterns with diamonds. So, again, you can have DMC colored diamonds. All of the colors apparently are represented in these diamonds. So there are people who have decided to buy blank canvas, so canvas that has no picture painted on it, just blank white canvas, and then to buy a Hade pattern and to do their Hade pattern in diamonds rather than in stitching. This is what I was saying. I thought that perhaps if I choose to do any more Hades, and I will because I can't resist them, who can? that I might choose to do that. Now, the trick with this project, this particular craft, is that at the moment, the majority of the canvases and kits, I don't know if you can tell this, looking at the top of the canvas here, but those are Chinese characters. The majority of the kits that you can buy come from China, which means that you have to wait for those things to come in, unless you want to pay incredibly exorbitant shipping fees to have them shipped in a timely fashion. You have to wait for your orders to come in from China. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them on eBay. There are a couple other places that you can buy these kits. You will pay more money for them because they are kits that have basically been purchased from China and then marked up by whoever is redistributing them to try to offset the cost and the time and the convenience or inconvenience of waiting for things to come in from China. If you buy them from China, you can get them for a much lower price. You just have to wait for them to come in. So, I will link to... There are a couple of people who do videos who are also involved in the Flosstube community. Nick Reed is one of them. Caitlin in Stitches is the person that I know for sure is doing Haid patterns with diamonds. I will link to both of their channels so you can check them out and see what kind of projects they're doing. I have a feeling... I have several kits coming to me from China. Like I said, I have the inclination to do my next Haid as a diamond painting. So obviously with 11 count as opposed to the recommended 25 count on Haid patterns, you're probably going to want to stick to mini patterns to do diamond paintings if you choose to do that, unless you want to do a really huge wall-sized Haid in diamonds. I don't know that I would do that, but some people might. I think some people are. Even if you do it a mini in 11 count, it's still going to be pretty big. So we'll see. Obviously, if you follow my videos, you will see if I do that in the future. But people are doing it. There is a whole Facebook group that I will link you to if you're interested in that. And I will update you on progress with my wolf here. I don't know if I'll show progress every week. We'll see. Depends on how much interest there is. If you're interested in this, let me know, and I will continue to show you progress on the wolf and the other kits that I get. If not, I will probably show updates on Instagram, and you can follow me there. But yeah, this is a great new craft, at least for Americans, I think, and I'm I've been trying to figure out ways to make it easier for Americans to get their hands on these things and not have to pay ridiculous prices for them. The other thing that's cool about this is that you can send pictures of your own. So send your own personal pictures to the companies in China, who will then print you a canvas with your picture on it and send you the diamonds to complete the picture in diamonds, and you can therefore have a customized, unique piece of craft work that nobody else has. I mean, the pattern won't be resold or anything like that. So, I will put a link to the main place that people are buying these kits in China as well. So if you are interested in checking it out, you can go and look for yourself. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know. If you think this is weird, let me know. Anyway, I have talked for quite a while. I think I might be getting close to the hour mark again. So I will go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen to me again with all of the glitches today. You have the patience of saints. I will talk to you again in a couple of weeks, hopefully with sunnier weather and better lighting and not so many hiccups. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.